Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by AbleAuctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help. And King of Floors, your vinyl, laminate, and engineered flooring superstore.
As we bring in NHL analyst John Shannon. John, thanks so much for doing this. How are you, sir?
Great, boys. I tell you what, I'm sitting in my palatial office watching you guys here in Toronto. It's fantastic.
Oh, wow, nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We need all the help we can get.
Well, you know that our buddy Toigo's putting 5 stores here in Toronto. So
what?
White spots?
I've been to a triple O drive-through. Absolutely.
Hold it a second. Toigo's putting 5 white spots into Toronto right now?
Apparently they're already there.
Yeah.
Wow, Johnny, that's a good update.
Oh, tell me about it. I went day one.
Wow.
I went day one. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
How can you not? If you're a BC boy, how do you not go to a triple O burger?
Oh, 100%.
So he's sponsoring, Ron Toigo and White Spot sponsoring 2 items on our show. So apparently we can make it 3 or 4. We'll have to give him a call.
John, they got those big fries there. What are they called?
Kennebec.
Kennebec fries out in Delta by River Road.
Okay. We've only got so much time here, but John,
anyways,
we don't want to talk about fries too much.
Kennebec fries.
Hey,
I don't know. It might be better than the alternative, what we want to talk about.
That's true. What about you? Do you admire J.T. Miller for speaking out yesterday, John?
Well, here's the thing. I do, and I loved what Brian Bartlett said about him as well. I think that when you become a leader and you obviously are looked to from your teammates, yesterday to me looked like he was representing not just himself, representing more than the players, representing the staff, representing the coaches of what they feel is going on, and it's tough. This is a sport, and both of you know this very well. This is a sport where people don't speak up very often, and in fact, the pack mentality of hockey is that you take your lumps and you just keep on motoring. And for him to say what he said after the writers and the media people asked him the questions, I do admire what he said and how he said it, and I truly believe between his conversation with the media and the call last night with the Players Association. There's been a lot more concern brought to the situation, and perhaps we are going to hear about that later today.
When the NHL was okay at the end of last season with winning percentages, when all was said and done in the regular season, why would they be okay with 19 games in 31 days, John?
Well, it's a complex answer because it's a partnership. It's a partnership between the players and the owners, and it's hockey-related revenue. It's TV rights that the players share in. It's all that signage at the arena that the players share in. It's the helmet decals that the players share in. It's going to have to be some level of compromise on both sides. And listen, I don't think you can point fingers at, well, the league did this or the Players Association didn't do this. This was what everybody thought they could do with direct advice from the medical people that they could play the games. And, this is also a playbook, guys. We've never seen this in our lifetime. I hope we never have to see it again in our lifetime, that these guys are learning on the job as well, how to manage the pandemic, how to manage days off. And it's one of those things that what JT said brought more to light, and everybody can learn from it as opposed to just shutting down. And I think that's what's happened today.
John, a lot of shots at the NHLPA I've heard in the last 20 to 48 hours. How can you allow your brothers, how can you allow this team in Vancouver they haven't had a game in 3 weeks, they haven't had a practice in 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden, they still got 7 guys on COVID. How can you allow these guys to play this weekend? What are your thoughts on the NHLPA and their positioning in this?
Rick, you know this better than most. There's very few people in arenas. There have been very few. There won't be any people in our arenas in our country, and the players are getting 72% of their salaries. And the Players Association did their best to fight for the 72% of their salaries for the CBA extension. This is a compromise, and they're trying to make sure and ensure that every player gets every cent they can in order to make sure that the agreement is fulfilled. Let me ask you this question, and I don't want to be known as a cold-hearted bastard, but what if the Canucks were first in the division?
Yeah.
What you know? And I heard Donnie. I heard you talk about they're going to have a minor league defense. The Boston Bruins had a minor league defense last Sunday afternoon and lost 8-1 to Washington. Now it wasn't COVID related; it was all injury related. But this is not as isolated a situation, and it isn't one that people have ignored. People have tried to think their way through it, and everybody's learning on the job. And it's a really tough situation to put everybody in: players, staff, coaches, owners, officials. Gosh, it's a no-win. It is a no-win. I heard you say that right at the top of the show.
Yeah.
It's a
and mistakes are going to be made.
Yes, absolutely, and hopefully learn from.
And John, you mentioned the coaches. Oh boy. Travis Green, we know's had a tough time with this as well. Last few couple of weeks, he's been up and down quite a bit. It's going to be interesting to see if he was at practice today, and he's had a tough time. Let's be honest, John. He's got no contract extension. Now he's going through this medical issue.
And here, and I agree with you. And as we talked about last week, I'm on the Travis bandwagon, man. I really am. But I don't think it's funny. I don't think they worried about David Quinn near as much in New York when he was out for 10 days.
Yeah.
I don't think they worried about Pete DeBoer and his staff in Vegas when they were out for 4 games.
Yeah, but those guys have contracts beyond this season, and those guys, I'm trying to put it all together for Travis and just say, you know what, he's had a bit of a rough go here this season.
Yes, but the good thing about Travis is he will be coaching somewhere in the National Hockey League next year. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's Vancouver, but he will get a job.
Might be down the highway. Might be down the highway 2 hours south.
Yeah, it might be. Who knows? That's if we know when we're starting next season, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Hey, John, switching gears, I know you care a lot about this. We all do. But how much do you feel for the young junior players not being able to play for Memorial Cup for a second straight year?
Yeah, I tell you what, it is, and it's such a paradox too, Donnie, because the USHL's playing. The NCAA, basically got through their Frozen Four. Here in Ontario, the OHL's not going to play at all. The Western League and the Western League's playing a little bit. I think they're going to get a 24-game schedule. The Q now is going to say everybody's going to make the playoffs. It's really hard from that perspective. If you think that families, and it's more than the players, families have invested so much of their lives to try to get to the point of getting to the draft and being drafted, and it is heartbreaking. But it's in context, is it more heartbreaking than all those people that work in restaurants on Robson Street? And we're just a simple microcosm of what's gone on in society. Period. So I mean, look at Bruce Hamilton in Kelowna. Look at Bruce was the big fighter of making sure that the BC bubble occurred, and then his team can't even play in the tournament.
Yeah.
So it is sad. It's disappointing, but we will get through it. We will be better for it. We will hopefully be more compassionate about things, although not on Twitter. And hopefully we'll have a full season to talk about and enjoy people in buildings. I heard you talk about in the Canucks store when Ryan's buying that hat that I really think is a hot looking hat.
Yeah.
When that part will come back, and we will enjoy being shoulder to shoulder with people at some point, and maybe we'll enjoy it just a bit more.
Excellent, John. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Thank you so much.
Yes. Have a great day, boys.
You bet.